A cute baby that is fluffy, soft, and smells like milk. A cute child who calls for mom and me and follows us around. The crystallization of love with a beloved person. Many couples who want to raise such a child work hard on fertility treatments. We were supposed to be one of those couples. Yes, we had the same wish for a child, but why did it turn out this way? I'm Emily, a 35-year-old part-time housewife. I'm in my 3rd year of marriage with my husband Ken, who is 2 years older than me. We met through a volunteer circle related to children. I loved children and participated in that activity on holidays to heal myself. My husband was the same and joked that he wanted to have enough children to form a baseball team in the future. We talked about how many boys and girls we wanted, what names we would give them. If I build a house, I will make the living room a double-height space and put a swing in it, and so on. We talked about many dreams. So we introduced each other to our parents soon after we started dating, and we got married and had a ceremony a year later. We were both over 30 years old at that time, so we thought it would be better to have many children as soon as possible if we were going to have them. However, even after 3 years had passed, we still didn't have any children. This cycle didn't work either. I reported to my husband with disappointment that I didn't get pregnant this month. I see. He probably didn't expect anything anymore, so his response was casual. He thought that having children was easy once you got married without any basis. But I learned in the 1st year that it wasn't that simple. In the 2nd year, I tried to improve myself by measuring my basal body temperature, creating a menstrual cycle chart, warming my body, researching things that were good for fertility treatments, etc., all by myself. In the 3rd year, I took the plunge and stepped into an obstetrics and gynecology clinic. I've been trying hard in my own way, but there has been no fruit. Or rather, I've been told by my gynecologist. There's nothing wrong with your body. That means your husband needs to be tested. Hey. Why don't you go for a test once? What? I'm fine. I've never had any problems with my health checkups. Don't you think infertility tests are not done during health checkups? But I'm not the one who's going to give birth. I'm the one who's going to give birth, but you're the one who's going to provide the seed, right? Men's tests are not painful and are over in no time. But it's embarrassing. I feel embarrassed every time and it hurts. Suppressing my desire to complain like that, I try to get him interested. Timing therapy seems to have reached its limit, so I want to move on to the next step soon. Because you can make enough children to form a baseball team, right? Is this man only capable of saying, I think he has male pride or something like that, but he can't move forward without enduring the test. Even if my husband's test results are bad, I'm prepared to live with him. I want children too, but my husband is more important. Doesn't he know or pretend not to know about my feelings and efforts? Today too, my husband ignored my wishes and just fiddled with his smartphone. And there is another person who doesn't understand this situation besides my husband. You still can't have children? My mother-in-law visited our house on my day off as usual and threw harsh words at me. Yes. It's because you're working. Quit soon. But it costs money for treatment. If you quit your job, you can do it right away, so you don't need treatment costs. If it were such an easy story, I would quit my job too. Change hospitals, too. Go for an examination at a place with better facilities, and if they find any abnormalities, it'll be fine. Abnormalities? That's presuming there's something wrong with my body. If you want grandchildren so much, can't you ask Ken to take an examination too? Can't you ask him, mother-in-law? I was tired of being blamed every time, so I let out my true feelings unintentionally. My mother-in-law dotes on her son so much that she turns into a demon when she says anything bad about him. Do you want to say there's something wrong with my son? Rather than the cause. The doctor is also troubled because the treatment plan cannot be determined without my husband's examination. There's no way my son has a problem. Don't blame my son or the doctor just because you're infertile. Yes. Of all things, infertile. What era is that word from? If written in kanji, it would be Ishiana, stone woman. I understand that you don't want to admit the possibility of a problem with your precious son. However, what kind of thought process is it to conclude that I'm the one who's strange? Honestly, that's why I told him to find a younger wife. My mother-in-law continues to mutter as if she wants me to hear it. Since my mother-in-law always responds like this, I turn a deaf ear. My heart has been paralyzed by years of sarcasm, going from one ear to the other. Yes, pass, pass. After that, the same thing repeated for a while. Only I went to the hospital, and even though I was told by the doctor that timing therapy was impossible, I still couldn't get my husband's cooperation. However, my husband was actively involved in making babies even if he refused to be tested. But at some point, even that activity stopped. With this situation, unless a stork physically brings it, we won't have a child. But I was relieved because I was tired of long fertility treatments. I don't have to worry about my cycle and feel restless or disappointed anymore. My husband feels the same way. I thought it was a period of rest and didn't pay much attention to it. But that wasn't the case. Let's get divorced. One day, my husband suddenly handed me divorce papers. Why? I was confused by the unexpected turn of events. My husband laughed and said, "Of course, it's because we can't have children. It's not just my problem. If you get tested, we might be able to conceive." That's it. My husband looked down on me as if I were something dirty. It's like I'm defective. I'm tired of being treated like that. No. I just wanted a child with you. I thought you wanted the same thing. So we tried our best as a couple. When a woman turns 35, she's called an older mother, right? Your body can't handle it anymore. This person could say such terrible things so easily. No wonder he takes after his mother. I want a child. That's why I decided to change partners. Change partners? You mean divorce? Remarry? Or rather, are you saying you're having an affair? Don't use such vulgar words. I just chose a young woman who can have children. That's terrible. You're the terrible one. You broke the promise to have many children. My mother is also disappointed that she won't see her grandchildren's faces. I can't keep up with infertility treatments anymore. That's right. My mother-in-law, who had somehow entered the house, glared at me with the same eyes as my husband, looking down on me. I should have done this from the beginning. I found the next wife. What? She's young, cute, and obedient. She'll definitely become a wonderful wife and give birth to many children. Unlike you. Certainly, my mother-in-law said she wanted a young bride. But who could have imagined that they would really try to replace me while we were still married? What do these people think of me? Am I just a machine for having children, and they want to replace me because I'm broken? I gradually regained my composure as the blood rushed back to my head from the unexpected turn of events. I've had enough. Everything that remained, including my feelings, flew away. I don't want to think that these 3 years of pain and suffering were in vain, but more than that, I absolutely don't want a child connected by blood with these people. I don't want to dedicate my precious life to such a man. I understand. I agree to a divorce. I bite my trembling lips in anger and play the role of an understanding wife. It's helpful to have an understanding wife. In return, I will definitely collect alimony from you and your mistress. Oh. You're at fault too. That's why you can't have children. It's fine, mother. She's going to live as a single woman from now on, so we need to support her financially. As expected of my proud son. My mother-in-law gazes at her son with admiration and leaves him behind as she starts packing her things. I'll give you money, so don't become a stalker for the new wife. I don't want any trouble if you get violent out of jealousy and hurt yourself. Do you think I would be jealous of such a cold-hearted man? I understand. Don't ever appear in front of me again. Of course. I wanted to see the face of the new woman who chose such a man, but if she pays me properly, that's fine. Anyway, I wanted to escape from this house, no, from this den of demons as soon as possible. After that, We only had one discussion about alimony, but my husband was ecstatic after marrying a young bride and paid generously at my asking price. My mother-in-law kept grinning, and my father-in-law, who was like air, remained so until the end. I can't believe I was involved with such a family. After returning to single life, I applied for a transfer to another department with renewed vigor. I was transferred to a location a little further away in the prefecture. I used the alimony I received on a trip abroad with friends so that there would be no lingering regrets. I had been saving money for a child that was supposed to be born someday, so I wasn't worried about my future life. It feels so good to spend money on myself. I also realized that there are many fun things in the world even if you don't have a husband or children. Feeling refreshed, I immersed myself in work and hobbies for a while and enjoyed my life to the fullest. At that time, I met an attractive man after a long time. Our hobbies and values matched, and we laughed at the same things. Being with him was so much fun. Moreover, he had many nephews and nieces. He said he didn't mind if we didn't have our own children because it was lively even without them. His parents also laughed and said they already had enough grandchildren. 5 years after the divorce, I remarried him at the age of 40. So I had given up on having children because it seemed impossible at my age, but what a surprise. I found out that I was pregnant with twins. My husband was also overjoyed even though he said he didn't care about their gender. In addition to being an older mother, they were twins. There were many pregnancy troubles, and I was bedridden most of the time. However, my husband and in-laws did everything they could for me. Even my parents who were worried about me all along without saying anything shed tears of joy when they heard about my pregnancy. Finally, boy and girl twins were born safely. My experienced in-laws helped me raise them and it was reassuring to have them around. Raising children is hard work, but I was happy every day surrounded by kind families. One day, I went to the largest shopping mall in the area. I was pushing a large stroller for my twins and leisurely browsing the stores when I noticed a man staring at me. I wondered who he was, perhaps an acquaintance. Without paying any attention to my suspicious expression, the man called out, "Emily. Could it be Ken?" It was my ex-husband whom I had divorced 5 years ago. After the divorce, he appeared in my nightmares for a while, but I had completely forgotten about him since becoming pregnant with twins. His face and physique had changed quite a bit, he had become overweight and seemed very unhealthy. Do you have children?" He stared at me with a dumbfounded expression as he looked at the stroller. Wasn't it infertility? This man, is he still saying that? I've told you many times before. There was nothing wrong with my body. I'm not like the infertile woman your mother described. Huh? Where is his voice coming from? Then I noticed that there was a woman standing next to him. In contrast to my overweight ex-husband, she was extremely thin. From a distance, she looked like she was in her 40s, but upon closer inspection, it seemed like she hadn't even reached 30 yet. There was only one person who came to mind. This person is your current wife? Yes. Then, could she be the woman you cheated on me with? Huh? Cheated on you? Hey. His wife looked bewildered, and his face turned pale. It became clear from their mismatched expressions what had happened. This man has done it again. You didn't know that this person was already married? I heard that you had divorced long before we started dating. I was told that your previous wife couldn't have children, so you left her. That's not true. You were secretly cheating on me while I was undergoing fertility treatments. Really? Your mother introduced me as her proud single son's wife. That mother of yours was in on it too. She kicked me out to make room for your remarriage. Hey, that's enough. My ex-husband panicked and tried to cover my mouth. I brushed his hand aside. You're such a despicable man for blaming your infertility on your wife and deceiving even young girls. I continued. But I'm glad you asked for a divorce back then. Even if the cause of infertility had been with you, I would have stayed by your side forever. Thanks to you, I met these adorable twin babies. Goodbye. I smiled as if to show off my sleeping babies in the stroller and left. Before parting ways with them, I wrote my phone number on the back of a shopping receipt. Then I gently placed it in her hand as she stood there absent-mindedly. Her hand felt cold and rough. It was a sad hand. "It's not your fault." When I whispered that in her ear, I could see her thin shoulders trembling. It seems that the two of them divorced later on. Why do I know? Because the woman who became my ex-husband's wife told me. She didn't even know that she was his affair partner or that there was a possibility of him being infertile. She, too, had been blamed by my ex-husband and ex-mother-in-law for not being able to have children, just like me. She took it to heart and spent more time suffering than I did. But it seems that she woke up after I told her the truth. Her parents were furious that their daughter, who had done nothing wrong, had been blamed so much. When they forced my ex-husband to undergo an examination at the hospital, it turned out that he had almost no sperm. The doctor told him that if he had received treatment when he was a little younger, there might have been a possibility. It's really too foolish. After explaining the circumstances of the divorce, she apologized to me even though she had done nothing wrong. So I told her to spend the alimony freely like I did and enjoy herself as much as possible. She laughed while crying. She's still young, so she should have many good encounters in the future. But I can't imagine such good luck coming to the worst ex-husband. Shortly after breaking up with her, my ex-husband called me on the phone. "You were the one who loved me the most after all. So won't you come back?" "Of course, it's fine if the children come with you too. I'm confident that I can love them if they're your children. There might be traces of my genes left inside you who loved me. Those children can be called mine without any mistake, don't you think?" A chill ran down my spine. "I don't think so at all. It's really disgusting, so please spare me. It's because your head is filled with delusions like that that no children came to you. Do you understand? A despicable man like you should spend your life taking care of your beloved mother even if it means being alone forever. Remember what you told me, don't get close to your new wife out of jealousy."
Aww.
I hung up on him while he clung to me with a pitiful voice. Apparently, he is being criticized by his own mother as well, but it's his own fault. My ex-mother-in-law probably won't have a chance to hold the grandchild she wanted so much for the rest of her life. It's all their fault, that's karma. Today too, I'm busy with raising my twins and doing housework. Come and see. The kids are standing up. Wait. Let me get the camera ready. Kids, wait a minute. Sit down until mom comes. Papa, that's unreasonable. My husband and I have become complete doting parents and are desperately trying not to miss any moment of our children's growth. Of course, childcare isn't always fun. But those moments when my children show me their smiles and my husband loosens his cheeks with affection are the happiest moments. What I wanted back then is right here now. I hope these lovely days will continue forever and ever.